This is a seawall inspection in Las Olas in Hendricks, Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to be inspecting the seawall that is completely decked on top here. You can notice that there are gutters that are just pouring into this side of the property. They're not tied back to the seawall, and that would definitely cause a lot of hydraulic pressure on the seawall area. This is a coquina rock seawall with cemented and a bottom footer. First thing we're going to do is we're going to inspect the bottom quadrant of the wall, the footer area, and see what's down there. How does it look? And after that we'll check the top and mid area sections of the seawall. This inspection is done on the 9th of July 2014 by seausdive in beautiful, not so sunny Florida today. And we're going to start on the north end of the property, making our way southward. See, a little tricky getting in here. Okay, this is the lower tide right now. This is the reason we're here right now. Give us a better look at the seawall. We're going to check the bottom section right now, so I'm going to try and not steer the sediment. See, the exterior of the concrete cover, the coating, is in relatively good condition. There is no weeping holes or discharge for the seawall, as you can see. And let's see over here. Right here there's an additional footer step that was created, and it seems to have an overhang, but there's one drain hole here, and you can see it has sand coming through it. So this is an old system weep hole pipe, and you can see inside. That's a great shot. I hope it comes on the camera. You can see all the rock and the fact that it's completely, so this area actually discharges water, but it also, if you look here on the bottom, discharges soil. So definitely prime candidate for jet valves, because there's just living proof how this weeping hole is becoming actually a discharge area for sediment. The bottom footer appears to be intact here, and is not undermined. And that's probably due to the fact that these drain hole pipes that are spaced on this section of the seawall, which appears to be a little newer, they install these weep hole pipes every 6 to 7 feet. And again, to show you, just this is what happens to the soil of the property when you don't have a proper filtration system, as this. And yeah, that's unfortunate. It does serve a purpose to release the water, and it does reduce the load. I'm going to go out there again and look at it. Right here you can see the stern of this boat is very close to it, but the sheet piling that was used to create the bottom footer is disconnected from the concrete and is separated, as seen here. And that's because water is discharging from the bottom of the wall and pushing on. And you can see it's all right here. So this entire section here, the sheet pile, all the way to the border of the property, and this is the neighboring property, which is empty right now. You can see the corner, and then again, all these weep holes. Look at that. There's a crab in there, and found himself a nice little house. And you can see there's oysters, and this this pipe is completely dysfunctional. It's not, one, release water, and two, if it does release, it releases it with sediment. So this area of the seawall has no weep valve, no jet valve systems, for instance, that is the best thing out there right now to discharge sediment, and not discharge sediment, discharge water, and not allow sediment to leave. And looking at this, it wasn't done too long ago, but there is still the issue of this. Look at now at the low tide, you can see how much water pressure is building up between the top of the seawall, and there's areas further down that I'll show you. You can see that the cap here is very small, and there's just sand and fill behind it. Again, weep hole is all full of sediment and discharging, and all this here, all this sand here, is all discharged from the property side. So basically, they're losing ground on the outside, on the outside of the wall. This is the one I pushed my hand in. That's another one. Right here, you can see whatever cementation that was done in a very quick manner and not very professional. They used some fiber concrete, but they left gaps right on the seam between the cap and the bikini rock, and not a great job there. Okay, this is again this part of the wall that has the protruding out footer, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe 8 or 9 of these pipes. And what should be done is they should be re-drilled and just put a jet valve, which is the real thing that would discharge water and not allow sand to leave anymore and be discharged through the water pressure. And right here, this area, you can see there's a crack, hairline crack. It starts right there and goes and goes and goes and kind of ends here. So whoever done the recoating, the mortaring of the seawall, whenever that was done. Okay, this is the area I wanted to show you. So you can see right here, this is underneath the deck. You can see how its erosion is already happening here. and all the water from the house, from the roof, from this side of the house, is just discharging into the deck, which discharging into the seawall, which either the seawall will push underneath here or discharge through those pipes, and it will discharge it water and sediment and fill. You can also see that conduit pipe that is, I guess their pump out system has collapsed and needs to be rebraced and fixed. As this section, which has not collapsed yet, but somebody used very flimsy plastic bracket instead of using stainless and doing it proper, so, and it looks pretty new, so it needs to be redone. But the real cause of concern here is areas like this. I want to stick my head in here. So you see, this is the deck, and you can see how right adjacent to the cap, and you can see what happens to the cap here. The cap is starting to collapse inwardly, which is because there's not enough fill behind it. And this area of the seawall is a prime example of it, because you can see that's where it cracked, is right here. This is where the crack is, and this is where we see a lot of erosion, a lot of soil loss, and that is a problem. And it needs to be addressed very soon, because this is basically stressing the seawall. And what happens is sediment is discharging from underneath, so it's creating a void, and the seawall is starting to sag. It's starting to settle into the property, into the bottom. So this entire area is definitely showing a condition that erosion is happening. And this, let's say about 50 feet, 60 feet, perhaps a little more. Let's say between 60 and 80 feet is the area that has no weep holes, so everything is basically discharging underneath, right? Like here, you can see on the bottom here, there's earth coming out, and this is again because the seawall, the water needs to come out, and it will come out. It's just a matter of how. And if right here, sticking my head again underneath, and you can see the erosion, you can see the actual line of the water height. You can see how it settles in the lower spots, and then it just, you know, filters through the ground, pushes the ground because of its weight. And what's going to happen is these deck and these supports, they're going to start sinking as well, because they're sitting in whatever, even if they have concrete bases, the concrete will start to sag. So really there's a need to allow the seawall to discharge without sediment loss. We are back now to the north end of the property, and here's another shot. So you can see right here, the sand, this area is sunk. So all the water will basically make its way here and then pressurize itself to come out of the seawall. And this is the seawall. Structurally, the seawall appears to be in relatively good condition, except that one area with a crack. And you could see, if you look at the profile of the seawall, and engineer Jeff Birmingham, if he watches this video, he will determine what degree of lean the seawall has now got in. And it definitely appears like there's an inner, if you look how the seawall is bowing, and work definitely needs to be done soon. It's not, I don't see any major structural failure, but it is definitely the seawall is under strain, and there's erosion happening on the other side of the seawall. And because of this beautiful deck that was built on the top of the property, you know, you don't have any way to see that unless you do what we're doing right now. And this will conclude our inspection. Again, we're in Hendricks, Las Olas, and July 9, 2014. And this survey inspection was done by seausdive. Thank you.